Hi everyone, my name is Arwani and welcome to another episode of Personal Development for Professionals. Um, Today we're 6 episodes into our series, and I hope it's been a good journey for all of you. And for those that are just joining us, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button, and then also tap on that bell icon so that you can be notified we hit every time we post up a new video, so that you can catch up like everyone else. Yes. So today I want us to talk about, a tough day in the office. I know it's normally Mondays. A lot of people call them Blue Mondays. Those are also tough days in the office for various reasons. But yeah, a tough day in the office. What does that mean to you? And how can you prevent it, or maybe handle such a day better? So what is a tough day in the office in the first place? How can we define a tough day in the office? Um, I can simply define such a day as a day whereby events happen that you were just not prepared for. So these are events that occur on that particular day that you were not prepared for, events that you did not anticipate could happen. That would result into a tough day because now you have to act out, you have to react on something that you were really not expecting. Okay, so how how can you prevent it, or how can you um, handle it better? So I think the answer is in the definition that I've just given. We need to anticipate these days. You need to sit down, you need to give yourself time and understand that within your career, within your workplace, um, what could a tough day look like? I mean, it could look different for all of us. I could make a lot of examples, but I think we all generally know what a tough day would look like. So give yourself time and you know uh, define this. How would that look in your life? And then once you have defined it, then it gives you an opportunity to put measures as to how are you going to handle the situation. So basically, let's work with a few examples. um, Say you have to present a project that you're working on, and a tough day would be maybe your colleagues not buying into the presentation, not buying into the project. Your senior, your senior officials maybe also not buying into what you are presenting. That has a potential to be a tough day. um, so I would say, if you had defined that before, as you were working on your presentation or whatever, and you defined that what would a tough day look like, and part of your definition was having my audience not like what I am preparing. So that would give you now a chance to ask yourself the next question. So how will I react to that? How do I choose to react once that happens? Once that unfavorable event occurs, how will I react? Am I gonna act out of frustration? Am I gonna act out of fear? How am I gonna act? You know, so the more this plays out in your mind, the more that situation becomes a familiar situation, even though it has not happened before. But you are now preparing your brain for that to happen. A lot of people can argue that by doing so, you are starting to have a negative outlook into life. I would argue against that. I mean, this works like, it's like insurance. With things like insurance, with things like medical aid, we take that stuff. We have that not because we want to be sick one day and get admitted in hospital, not because we want our cars to get into accidents, or not because we want our valuables stolen, but we have that in place should it happen, preparing for the worst case scenario so that when it happens, at least we're ready. So, same thing with a tough day in the office. If you're not going to anticipate it, it's going to come and hit you by surprise. So, anticipate it and understand how are you going to react to it in terms of emotions, in terms of what are you going to physically do. So, we've spoken about the emotions part. Um, I would advise that always try to handle each circumstance in a calm manner. When you are calm, everyone else in the room becomes calm. You know, um, we tend to, how can I put this? So every human being has an influence on the people around him or her. So if a negative situation happens or an emergency at work, anything that can constitute into a tough day, if it happens and you decide to remain calm and everyone around you will also be influenced to remain calm. It might not happen instantly, but I can promise you that they will be calmer than they would have been should you have started panicking as well. So make the choice to remain calm. Make the choice to remain sober-minded, no matter how bad that situation may be. Remember, you have seen this before. You've visualized this. You've anticipated this. So you are ready for this. You are a professional. Okay. So, what's the next thing that you need to do? So, in anticipating, what would your plan of action be? So, what can you do now to ensure that that event does not happen, the event that you're anticipating? Um, what can you do now to ensure that it doesn't happen? You need to look at your options. What options do you have? The options that you are looking at, do they prevent? Ideally, you want to prevent that day from happening. So those are the first options that you need to look at. But if it's something that you cannot um, like completely prevent from happening, then at least understand what can you do now to ensure that when that unfortunate day does come, the effects of it are not as bad as uh, if it was gonna come and hit you by surprise. So you need to decide on a course of action. Decide how you're going to feel and decide on a course of action. And by doing so, it I can say it takes the fear away from that tough day, because now you know as an individual that you know what, I know this can happen and I know how I'm going to react to it when it happens. So let's get into that habit of trying to understand what's the worst that can happen and asking yourself, am I ready to handle such a situation? Because trust me, tough days do happen in any career, in any workplace. It's part of the professional life. And the sad thing about it is, if we're not prepared about it, I've seen people take major decisions just because of those tough days. I've seen people resign from their work just because of an event that they were not prepared for. People, like I'm saying, like they take drastic decisions because they were just not ready. And we don't need that in our professional lives. We are professionals, we prepare. I did a whole video on preparation. I think that was episode 4, episode 5, if I'm not mistaken. I'll just put the link on that in the description of this video so that you can have a look at the preparation, how you can prepare for this tough day to ensure that when it comes, you are ready or we prevent it from happening altogether. Okay, so I don't want to make this a long video. Um, the reason why I was sharing this with you is, personally, I've been having a lot of tough days as well. And I realized that this is something that I could have prevented. This is something that was well within my power, well within my control to prevent it from happening. But just because I did not anticipate it from happening, it hit me by surprise and it was a major setback, something that I've now had to work from. So I'm merely sharing this with you, so that maybe you can learn from my mistakes and it shouldn't have to happen to you. So I've got confidence that this is information that can be helpful to you. And like I always say, please, if you feel like this is something that can be beneficial to someone else, please go ahead and share it with them. And thank you to everyone that has been giving feedback. I really appreciate your feedback. It is your feedback that is making this channel bigger. It's your feedback that is making this channel better. So keep that feedback coming. Let's interact more on the comments. And yeah, let's grow this community. And see you soon on episode number 7. Tough day at work, anticipate it and prepare for it. Thank you.